So that's the village in the distance. It's not very far. I start making my way over towards the mountains over there. Just because the ground is flatter and it's easier, like it's more stable. Walking on the sand is not super problematic. It's just like a pain in the ass. So whenever I can, I go over to the mountains. I'm also trying to get a glimpse. There's supposed to be a number of inscriptions that they have on the side of these mountains. And I want to see if I can catch where they're at. They're not really shown to, at least kind of like with like a little preliminary look. It doesn't really show exactly where these places are at. So, and I also kind of like the added element of exploration. So, continuing forward. So I'm getting close to where some of the wild dogs have their little den. I don't know if you can see them in the distance. I'm gonna walk right the fuck over there too. And if you can, hold on, I got my sunglasses on so it's hard to see the video. So if you look right there, that's actually, this little area right here is where a lot of water that gets trapped up there comes down in funnels, which is why you see those few green plants. And that's essentially why a lot of this rock is black, is because it's the water coming down and basically, I think, chemically changing the rock face. And so a lot of people will come up here to climb this, but it's actually like incredibly hazardous just because it's all sandstone. And that stuff can break away at the drop of a dime. Like when I go to spring, that was one of my failure videos because when I got right to the top, my tablet died. But when I go back up there to record it, I'll show you guys some of the stuff that I've seen, and it's incredibly dangerous to like walk up these things. And you think it's just because like when you're looking at it in the distance, everything sort of looks uniform. Everything looks as though it's all in its settled place. But then as you get closer, you see that that's really not the case. And a lot of these things are like ready to just drop. There was at Lawrence Spring, which happens to be over right there in that direction, where what's at the center of the camera now, around that corner is where Lawrence Spring is. And so when I was walking up there, on my way back down, I basically saw a rock that was like the size of me, and I'm 6'2", 189 centimeters for those who use the metric system. And that rock was held up by a rock that's the size of my fist, and that rock was held up by a little, it's like a little disc of a rock that basically is like sticking up vertically. That was just balancing a giant boulder on top of a fucking stone the size of my fist. So it actually put things into perspective where I was like, oh shit, man. Oh, sorry, I covered the mic. Like, it actually put things into perspective where I was like, oh crap, man. Like, because if I'm out far enough and I get crushed by a boulder, I just get crushed by a boulder. That's 144 hours waiting to happen, which is really what I hope does not happen. I actually need to read up on that guy and see what happened so I can fucking avoid it. Just so you guys can see, like, I'm just a few steps from where I was before. The crow's out in the middle of the desert, just following me around. Want to see if they come. They get curious. Oh, I think two did. But kind of going back to this, it's sort of perplexing to me because you see a lot of these like carcasses out here, where, you know, they've killed the animal for one reason or another. As a matter of fact, my friend, his goat got sick the other day and died, so he found it dead. And I'm wondering, like, to me, as somebody who's a hunter and likes and enjoys those aspects and learning about survival and things like that, this is like a way, especially in a region like this, which is kind of like all of the all of the trees in the middle of this, but that's because they bring in water. But you would think that in a place like this, that this would be kind of more of a valued resource, because I mean, like, that's fur. Like, you can, and they use that. They use that for their tents, the luxury tents that they have, the regular tents that they have. I mean, they use them even when it gets cold. So you would think that this would be a valuable resource, but all of the time I see just furs and skins out here in the desert, and maybe it's because they feel they don't really have a use for it anymore. But I mean, like, to me, I'm just like, wow, like that would be really useful if you just tanned it, which they're really rudimentary things that you can do that. You don't need very much to do it, and it's just not done. And I don't know if it's because it's something that they didn't really do before, or if it's just something that they don't really find a use for anymore, which is like really odd, because they still have some of these other more traditional elements here in like the Bedouin, that is, where they do kind of still do a lot of those older things when they really don't need to. So I'm wondering what particular traditions do they value more than others, and why do they value them as opposed to like something like this, where it could be a useful resource, especially when it gets cold out here, because it does get cold out here. And I just kind of found, like, I guess, like a disposal site or graveyard of sorts. I figured it out because it was just it had like a putrid smell. And so this is obviously a deceased camel. Part of me wants to take one of those femur bones though, because them bitches are strong. They make good tools. I don't know how long it's been dead, but it's been out here for a while. Birds come and pick at it, most likely the crows. And so, yeah, this rock's solid. And then this is more recent. So this is probably what I was smelling. This goat still got all of its, all of its insides. Well, I mean, except for that, which is outside. Oh, I might cut this part out. Yeah, there's another one over there. So I think this is kind of like a disposal site that they have, where they get rid of a lot of stuff. And so I guess that kind of makes sense as to why I see all of the greenery here. Like, you have a lot of nutrients coming in from the various carcasses that you have. And then you also have the water that comes from up there. And that explains why the dogs den over here, is because they have like a ready source of meat and water, which actually leads me to believe that there's like standing water up there that they can consistently drink, so they don't have to constantly like travel to the village. Little puppy warning me away. Now, you're doing a good job, man. It's your whole thing. I actually do need to be cautious to ensure that I'm not like snuck up on. Aw, got all tired out? Not barking at me anymore? Take a step long, let me see what he does. It's like he doesn't even care. He's just like, hey, just stay the fuck away. So yeah, I guess this is where they chill out during the day, or den at. It's just this silent aspect that exists out here that I like. And this is also the first time that I'm trying to like pause the video and continue recording at some later point. But like, I have to keep my tablet on, and I have to keep it on the camera screen, otherwise it exits out of the video and I can't continue recording, which is frustrating. So forgive the kind of like jumpiness to the video. is kind of what this place looks like at a distance. And one of the reasons that I started recording again, aside from what you see on that rock, I have no idea what that means, but it's El Matona El Jaraz. The 079 is the area code here. The George, I don't know, maybe it's a name somebody likes. I think those are 3 backwards ones at the top. I don't know, and anybody can correct me if I mispronounce that. El Metna, El Jarouj. But what I wanted to show you guys was this. It's a very kind of like, because of the stone and how it breaks away very easily, it creates these really unique shapes sometimes, which are kind of like interesting to look at, but also practically useful as well if you're trying to get out of the heat of the sun. And I think it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So for those who've lived in a desert or in hot areas, you know that is the hottest part of the day. So, and a lot of this is just sandstone. So I'm gonna go up to this. This does not seem like sandstone. Oh no, there it is. Yeah. So I'm gonna take a rock so you guys can see in here. You see how how easy it is for this stuff to break off. See? So it can be quite dangerous. Let me see if I can get a. Oh, I'm not getting it in the camera, that's why. This is also kind of like an exploratory video, so forgive the bad angle. But you guys can hear how that's hollow. Not just because of this, but oh, that one's more. Oh, and see, so this this actually broke off in my hand, but I don't think this is sandstone. I think this is starting to shift or change into something else. But yeah, all of that up there is same kind of rock, the same kind of stone, and it is super easy for it to break away for like almost no reason. There's somebody riding back the camel. I think the white camel in the back is actually an adolescent. I think they're getting them used to riding with the saddle. He's waving back at me, just waved at him. You can see the dust trail. It's coming my way? Yes. Think it's coming my way? No? What are you gonna do, dust? So he's riding back to the village, and like that's kind of a thing that they do more often. Hold on. Keithik! Hold on. Well, dude, you're on the camel. Are you gonna walk over here? You want me to walk on foot to you with the camels? Well, I'll start recording again once I get closer. Camel's up close. Shو اسمك? Salam. Salam? Shalom? Salam.